My girlfriend said, "He's below my level." I replied, "Enjoy your perfect new life without me." Then I left her friends at the table, ignored every apology, met with the friend who betrayed her secrets, and I just watched as the ballroom saw who she was and what she'd done behind my back. Welcome back to Family Tales. In today's story, we explore what happens when a man is mocked by his girlfriend as below her level and decides to walk away and expose the truth she's been hiding. As you listen, notice the moment where you would have walked away. At dinner, my girlfriend laughed to her friends and said, "He's sweet, but so below my level." They all laughed. I smiled and said, "Then you'll love life without me." I paid the bill and left. That night, one of her friends texted me, "You need to know something about Sophie." What she sent would destroy everything I thought I knew about the woman I had planned to marry. My name is David Chen. I'm 34 years old, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I run a cybersecurity consulting firm that I built from scratch after leaving a comfortable job at a tech giant in San Francisco. The money is good, very good, but I've never been the flashy type. I drive a 7-year-old Honda Accord because it's reliable. I wear jeans and plain shirts because they're comfortable. I live in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Oakland because it has everything I need and nothing I don't. Sophie Martinez was the kind of woman who turned heads when she walked into a room. Tall, elegant, with dark hair that fell in perfect waves and a smile that could make you forget your own name. She worked in marketing for a luxury fashion brand, and everything about her screamed sophistication. Designer clothes, expensive taste, the kind of presence that made other people feel underdressed. We met at a mutual friend's wedding 2 years ago. I was the best man. She was a bridesmaid. We ended up talking for 3 hours at the reception about everything from artificial intelligence to the best tacos in the Bay Area. She laughed at my jokes, seemed genuinely interested in my work, and when she gave me her number, I felt like the luckiest guy alive. The first year was incredible. Sophie was attentive and affectionate, always planning romantic date nights and weekend getaways. She brought me into her world of gallery openings and wine tastings, and I brought her into mine of hackathons and tech conferences. Her social polish balanced my technical side. It felt like we were a perfect match. But somewhere around the 18-month mark, things started to change. It was small at first. Sophie would make little comments about my clothes. "David, maybe you should let me take you shopping. You can't keep wearing those startup t-shirts everywhere." Or about my car, "Babe, don't you think it's time for an upgrade? We're not college students anymore." I brushed it off. I figured she was just trying to help me look better for her work events. But the comments became more frequent, more pointed, and they started happening when her friends were around. This is often how disrespect starts, not with one huge insult, but with small cuts people label as jokes. Sophie had a tight circle of friends from her sorority days at Stanford. Jade Hartwell, whose father owned a chain of luxury hotels. Melissa Preston, married to a hedge fund manager. And Cara Sullivan, an influencer with 500,000 followers who documented every brunch like it was a cultural event. These women were Sophie's world, and more, I felt like I was just a footnote in it. The dinner that changed everything happened on a Thursday night in March. Sophie organized it at Aqua, one of those restaurants where the menu doesn't list prices and the sommelier acts like he's doing you a favor by talking to you. She'd invited Jade, Melissa, and Cara and insisted I come. "We need to do more couple things with my friends," she'd said. "It'll be fun. You'll get to know them better." When we arrived, they were already seated and already 2 bottles of wine in, laughing about something I wasn't part of. Sophie kissed my cheek and introduced me like I was a nice accessory. "Everyone, you remember David, my tech genius." The way she said it made it sound cute, not serious. Dinner started normally enough. They talked about a charity gala, vacations in the Maldives, and drama about a friend's divorce. I mostly listened, answering simple questions about my work when they came up. Then Melissa, 3 glasses of wine in, turned to Sophie with a sly smile. "So, Soph, when's he finally going to upgrade that car? I keep telling Robert we should loan you guys his old Mercedes, but he says it's too nice to give away." The table laughed. Sophie joined in. "David's practical," she said. "He'd rather invest his money than spend it on material things. It's actually kind of sweet." "Sweet," Jade repeated. "That's one word for it. Another word would be boring, but we won't go there." More laughter. I felt my jaw tighten but stayed quiet. The comments kept coming. Little jabs about my car, my clothes, my apartment, my choice to save money instead of spending it on luxury. When your partner lets people tear you down and laughs along, that is not a joke. It is a boundary being crossed in public. Then came the moment that broke everything. Kara was showing photos from her latest trip to Paris, and Sophie was gushing about how she'd always wanted to stay at the hotel Kara had posted. "It's like 2,000 a night," Kara said. "Totally worth it though. The view is incredible." "Someday, right, David," Sophie said. I smiled. "Someday for sure." "We've been talking about Paris for our honeymoon." Jade laughed. "Honeymoon? That's adorable. Sophie, are you really still thinking about that?" Sophie's face flushed. "We've talked about it." "Talked about it," Melissa echoed. "Girl, you've been talking about it for months, but let's be real. Can he even afford the ring you actually want?" The table went quiet. Sophie's hand slipped away from mine. "I mean," Jade continued, "he's sweet and all, but Sophie, be honest with us. Don't you ever feel like he's just, I don't know, below your level?" I waited for Sophie to shut it down. To say, "No, he's my equal." Instead, she laughed. "Oh my God," she said. "I mean, yes, sometimes. He's so sweet and smart, but come on. Look at where I am in my career, look at my lifestyle, and then look at him, driving that Honda, living in that apartment, wearing clothes from Target." They burst into laughter. Real, loud, cruel laughter. Like I wasn't sitting right there. Sophie kept going, now confident. "I keep thinking he'll grow into his success, you know, like he'll wake up one day and realize he can afford to live like he's made it. But no, he's perfectly happy being mediocre, comfortable. It's honestly kind of embarrassing sometimes." Jade raised her glass. "To dating down and hoping they level up." They clinked their glasses, including Sophie. The server came with the check. Sophie reached for it like she always did around her friends, expecting me to quietly hand over my card while she treated everyone. Not this time. I pulled the check toward me. It was almost $1,800. I took out my Black American Express card, the one I rarely used, and placed it on top. Then I looked at Sophie for the first time since the jokes began. "You know what, Sophie?" I said. "You're absolutely right. I am below your level." "Way below," she blinked. "David, I was just joking around." "I mean," I continued, looking around the table, "you all value cars, designer clothes, and Instagram trips. I value integrity, loyalty, and actually caring about the person you're with. So yes, I'm definitely below your level." "And honestly, that's the nicest thing you could have said to me." Her smile faded. "David, seriously, it was just the wine talking." "No, it wasn't," I said. I pulled my card back and slipped it into my pocket. "Actually, you know what? You should experience life at your level without me dragging you down. I'm sure one of your friends can cover this." I stood up, turned, then paused. "One more thing, Sophie. The ring I was planning to propose with. The one Melissa was worried I couldn't afford. It's a 3-carat diamond from Tiffany's. It cost more than your car, but I guess you'll never know that now." I walked out while the whole restaurant watched. The valet brought my old Honda, and I drove away. Sometimes the most powerful moment in a relationship is not an argument. It is the quiet decision to stop accepting disrespect. My phone started buzzing before I got home. Calls and texts from Sophie. Voicemails, apologies, excuses. It was just a joke. They pushed me into it. I didn't mean it. I ignored all of them. What I didn't expect was the text at 2 a.m. from an unknown number. "David, this is Jade. From dinner. I know you probably don't want to hear from any of us, but there's something you need to know. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? It's important. It's about Sophie and it's not good." I stared at the message. Jade, the one who had started the below-your-level topic, wanted to meet. Every instinct told me to block her, but the way she wrote, "It's not good," stuck with me. I replied, 10 a.m. Blue Bottle Coffee on Broadway. Come alone. She answered right away. Thank you, you won't regret this. The next morning, I was at Blue Bottle early with a black coffee watching the door. At exactly 10, Jade walked in. No makeup. Hair in a messy ponytail. Jeans and a Stanford sweatshirt. She looked nothing like the polished woman from the night before. Thank you for meeting me, she said. You have 10 minutes, I replied. Then I'm gone. Fair enough. She took a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you is going to hurt, but you deserve to know before you make any decisions about Sophie. I waited. Sophie has been cheating on you, Jade said, for the past 6 months with Ethan Marsh from her office. Ethan, the creative director she'd mentioned, the guy with the Tesla and the penthouse in Soma. How do you know? I asked. Because I helped her cover for it, Jade said, looking ashamed. The girls' nights out. Half of them were with Ethan. Some work conferences were weekend trips with him. We lied for her. I did it because I thought that's what friends do. But last night, when she humiliated you like that, I realized I've been helping her hurt someone who didn't deserve it. She pulled out her phone, scrolled, and turned the screen toward me. Screenshots, dozens. Texts between Sophie and Ethan, photos, hotel bookings, plans. Send them to me, I said. Jade forwarded everything. There's more, she said. She's been planning to break up with you after her company's awards ceremony next month. She needs a date for the big night, and Ethan can't go because he's still married. After that, she was going to end things and start dating him publicly. She calls you a placeholder in these messages. Why are you telling me this? I asked. What's in it for you? Guilt, Jade answered. You've been nothing but good to her, and I watched her treat you like a backup option. I'm done helping her do that. Notice how the truth often comes from the people watching from the sidelines, not from the person who is using you. I spent the next week ignoring Sophie's calls and planning my next move. Sophie had made one big mistake with me. She assumed that because I didn't flash my money, I didn't have any. 6 months earlier, my cybersecurity firm had been acquired by a major tech company. The deal made me more money than Sophie could imagine, and I stayed on as a consultant with a 7-figure annual package. I'd been planning to share that with her when I proposed. Now that money had a new purpose, freedom and protection, I called my lawyer, Marcus. You want to make sure she can't touch your assets, he said. That and something else, I replied. I laid out my idea. He listened, then nodded slowly. David, that's smart, legal, and very final. Let's do it. For 2 weeks, we moved everything. Assets went into trusts and LLCs. I made large donations to causes Sophie liked to post about but never contributed to. Women in tech scholarships, homeless youth programs, environmental projects. We documented every move. Revenge stories often focus on the big reveal, but the real power sits in the quiet steps taken beforehand to protect yourself. Sophie's company awards ceremony was coming up at the Fairmont Hotel. She texted me details, assuming I would still show up as her polished +1. I didn't reply. 2 days before the event, I created a slideshow, simple black and white, screenshots of Sophie's messages with Ethan, photos of their trips, a timeline of their affair lined up against our anniversaries and I love you texts. I sent it to Marcus. He wrote back, "This will destroy her career." Are you sure? I'm sure, I replied. Then I called Jade. I need another favor, I said. This will end your friendship with Sophie. That friendship is already over, she said. Tell me what to do, I explained. She agreed. On the night of the awards, I didn't go to the Fairmont. I went to dinner at a quiet Thai place in Berkeley with friends from my industry who actually respected me. Meanwhile, at the hotel, Jade made sure my slideshow got loaded as a special tribute video. At 7:15 p.m., while people were mingling, the big screens in the ballroom changed from the company logo to a text conversation. Can't wait to finally dump David after this stupid ceremony. He served his purpose. Then another. Just 2 more weeks of pretending to be the supportive girlfriend, then I'm all yours. Pictures of Sophie and Ethan on secret trips, hotel confirmations. Messages mocking me and Ethan's wife. According to Jade, the room went dead silent. Ethan tried to slip out. Colleagues blocked him. Sophie's CEO watched all of it with folded arms. The last slide was simple white text on black. To everyone who thought David Chen was below Sophie Martinez's level, you were right. I was below a level where lying and cheating are normal. I value honesty and loyalty. Clearly, that's not Sophie's level. Public humiliation hurts. But sometimes bringing the truth into the light is the only way a long pattern of disrespect finally stops. My phone lit up nonstop. Angry messages from Melissa and Kara. Dozens of calls from Sophie, but there were other messages too. A woman named Sarah, Ethan's wife, thanking me for finally giving her proof. People from Sophie's company saying they respected what I did. Even Sophie's CEO asking for my statement. On Monday, Sophie was fired. Not just because of the affair, but because clients had seen the presentation and complained. Ethan was demoted and shipped to a smaller office in Portland. Jade posted a video to her followers, explaining what happened and saying she was done covering for toxic behavior in the name of loyalty. Her video went viral. A week later, Sophie came to my apartment one last time. I opened the door. She looked tired, eyes red, hair unwashed, wearing sweatpants instead of her usual designer outfits. "David, please," she said. "I made a terrible mistake. I was stupid and shallow. I didn't appreciate what I had. We can fix this. We can start over. I'll do anything." I leaned against the doorframe. "You didn't make one mistake, Sophie," I said. "You made hundreds of choices, every lie, every trip. Every time you laughed at me with your friends, those were choices. Now you're living with them." "I know," she whispered. "If you give me another chance, I'll prove I've changed. I'll be better, I promise." "The thing is," I said, "I don't want you to be better, not for me. Because even if you changed completely, I would never trust you again. And a relationship without trust isn't a relationship." Her face crumpled. "So that's it. 2 years and you're just done." 2 years where you pretended to love me while planning your exit," I corrected. "Yes, I'm done." I paused, "but I don't hate you. I actually feel sorry for you." "Sorry for me," she snapped. "You ruined my career, my reputation, my life. And you feel sorry for me." "I feel sorry for you because you had someone who loved you and would have given you anything," I said. "And you threw that away for status and image. That's sad, Sophie. That's on you." Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. You can release someone in your heart and still keep them far from your life. I stepped back. "Goodbye, Sophie. I hope you figure out what actually matters without me." I closed the door. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my new penthouse in San Francisco. I finally upgraded, not because someone shamed me into it, but because I chose it for myself. The view of the Bay Bridge is incredible. My home office is set up for my consulting work and my next cybersecurity venture. In the garage, I keep both my old Honda and a new Tesla. I drive whichever one I feel like. Both belong to me. Neither defines me. Jade and I are real friends now. She left Sophie's circle and uses her platform to talk about toxic friendships and choosing better people. Recently, she introduced me to her cousin Emma, a software engineer who thinks my Honda is charming and my saving habits are attractive. We've been on a few dates. With her, I don't feel like I have to prove anything. As for Sophie, I've heard she's working at a small boutique firm, making much less than before. Ethan's wife divorced him and took most of what he had. Last I heard, he's living with his parents trying to rebuild his career. Sometimes people ask if I went too far, if the public reveal was too harsh. I always answer the same way. She chose to humiliate me publicly first. She just didn't expect me to have the truth or the courage to answer in public too. In the end, the real upgrade wasn't my car, my clothes, or my apartment. It was my standards. Here are the lessons I took from all of this. Lesson 1. If someone lets their friends insult you and joins in, they are showing you how they really see you. Lesson 2. Love without respect is not love. If your partner is secretly ashamed of you, the relationship is already broken. Lesson 3. Your worth is not measured by brands, cars, or zip codes. It is measured by your character and how you treat people. Lesson 4. Protecting your finances and your dignity after betrayal is not petty. It is self-respect. Lesson 5. Forgiving someone in your mind does not mean you owe them another chance in your life. Lesson 6. Sometimes the best revenge is not hurting someone back, but building a life where their opinion no longer matters. What about you? If you were in my place at that dinner table, would you have walked away the same night or stayed and tried to fix it? Have you ever realized that someone you loved secretly thought you were below their level? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone see their own situation more clearly. And if this story spoke to you, consider subscribing to Family Tales for more true-to-life stories about relationships, choices, and learning to choose yourself.